it's all fake. So you're either in it for real, or you just fake it. And I choose not to fake. I just choose to just, be truthful. Now, I'm not saying I don't tell little white lies.
I was just gonna say that, this has nothing
Okay.
to do, everybody lies.
Yeah.
That's human nature.
Exactly.
But it's about that authenticity.
But
I
it's
also picked that, and
yeah.
for me, it was about vulnerability. I'm so open and able to be vulnerable that I don't have a problem with honesty at all. It's just, what you see is what you get. I mean, obviously, I tape myself, I'm an open book. But that's.
And it's not just
exactly-
you being honest, but you have to accept honesty from other people too. And I think there's the back and forth. You have to be willing to accept reality and truth from someone too, and say, okay, this is what it is.
And you may not like that. You may not like what you're getting. But you
Exactly.
can appreciate that the person's being honest. And that's important. And that might be something that you consider. So James is saying it's not necessarily a positive, but we're just turning things around in this class.
Yeah,
We're just trying to see things differently, not that we disagree with you. But it could be that.
I said honest, I saw myself more as perseverance.
Okay, I can
But
totally see that.
Now I could be like Trisha and go back and forth between honesty and perseverance. But how you said honesty, I'm too upfront. Like I'm too open, too upfront. So there's like a limit on honesty, right? I mean,
That's your judgment.
and that's everyone else's judgment, but I'm
But
like,
then
no,
you don't
I'm
agree?
honest, I'm truthful, like.
Then
I
you don't
understand
agree
what
with the
she's going
judgment
with.
that others give you?
that-
Remember,
that-
our virtues and our
I'm-
values are what we stand for.
Oh, yeah.
Others people's opinion don't play a role in this.
Right, but
This is our rule book for life.
But my parents also taught me to be like respectful and help others, but
But
And
are those
be
mutually
honest,
exclusive? Is honesty and respect mutually exclusive?
what do you mean?
Are they separate? You can't be honest and respectful at the same
No.
time?
No, I mean with them, yeah, but there was a limit to my honesty because I was always scared of my mom. So I always lied to her because, I always either lied or not, had anything to do with her.
Okay.
So I showed her mad respect because I know what would happen, but the whole honesty thing up until now, that's when I'm opening up to her without attitude also.
Okay, and I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
I think the attitude, the respect piece might be more there than the honesty.
And I think that's what's killing her too. 'Cause
But if it's your character trait,
Yeah.
if it's your virtue, if it's something that you value in yourself, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
That's
Because
the
like I
difference
said-
between goals.
I felt
When
so
we
good
have
that
a
night.
goal, we can do and go to very extreme lengths to get our goal met.
Mhm.
And I think everyone has probably had an experience like that. You might suck it up, you might be quiet, you might kiss ass, you might, just to get a goal. But with virtues and values, you don't. It is your character. It is who you want to be in the world. And that doesn't fluctuate because someone else wants you to be a certain way. And if it does fluctuate, it causes stress within you
Mhm.
because you need to be true to who you are.
Yeah.
We all have a mantra. Everybody has a mantra of how they live their life, what their core values are. You may have never sat and written it down. Anyone see Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Okay, Jerry Maguire, what does he do?
He's an agent, right?
Yeah, he's an agent. But what does he do at the beginning of the movie? The premise of the movie is that he writes this manifesto. He's working for this big agency where sports agents, recruit athletes and get paid a lot of money. But he feels that he is sort of depleted of self. And so he writes this manifesto and he puts one in everybody's box. And he stands up in the office and he's like, who's coming with me?
Oh, he's leaving the office?
And he leaves the office. And Renee Zellweger is the only one that goes with him. Because she has those same values as he does. And then he, who's this guy? Cuba Gooding Jr. is like his only client.
Yeah,
Everybody else in that office said, screw that, I make too much money. Are you kidding? When am I going to go with you? You have no clients. But his manifesto was, this is my virtue, this is my value, this is my character. And in the whole movie, you see how he builds his character. There's a part where he's cheating on his girlfriend, and he has to break up with her. Because it goes against, that whole movie is about Jerry Maguire, about Tom Cruise, creating a real character for himself, a person with character. He ends up breaking up with the girlfriend, because she's pissed that he doesn't make all this money anymore. He stays with Cuba Gooding Jr. as his only client, and then he falls in love with Renee Zellweger. Yes, it's a love story, and it's beautiful, and it's perfect, and all that. But the point of that movie is to show that you stand up for your values. You stand up for it at whatever cost. It's very different than goals. At goals, you might do anything and everything. And you have to know, and that's positive psychology. If you can understand what makes your client tick, if you can understand what character strengths a client has, you can really help a client shift their whole life. Because you're going to put it in a perspective that's a positive. So if we take just the Paula example for a moment, we can help her turn it around where we can see that her honesty and her sharing could be a role model experience. Your bravery will lead you to perhaps, pursue things that might be scary, but fear isn't going to win. What about virtue of humanity? I had trouble with this one.
I had leadership.
No, virtue of humanity. Love, kindness,
Oh,
social
sure.
intelligence.
I didn't put it down. I had to put something, so I picked kindness, but I don't identify myself with anyone. And
Okay.
it's more like a punishment towards myself that I feel like I don't identify, even though I kind of do, but it's like you don't deserve to say that your virtues, love, or kindness. It's like myself. I
But
was
do you
putting
think
it
you're not kind? Or do you think humanity doesn't deserve your kindness? Or has humanity not been kind to you?
I feel that I'm not kind when it comes to, like, when I, not necessarily compare, but when I look at what my mom does for everybody else, and it's like, oh shit, I'm a selfish bitch. My mom does, this weekend we were talking about what we would do if we won the lottery. And my dad was like, oh, if I win the lotto, I'm gonna split it in three, for my daughter, my mom, and for himself. And my she was on the phone with her friend, my cousin, the one that the mom died. And my mom was telling her how, oh, if I win the lotto, I'm gonna buy you a house and I'm gonna buy you a car, because she doesn't have a car now, and she's moving because the house that they used to live in, it's too expensive for herself. It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy you a house, I'm gonna buy you a car, and then I'm gonna buy them in Cuba, I'm gonna buy them a house, I'm gonna buy them. And even though we were
You're
playing,
thinking about your wardrobe.
and even though we were playing, I'm like, when you run out of money, don't come to me. Go to those people that have houses because of you and stay over there. And she's like, why are you like that? You're only playing and you can't even deal with it. You're so selfish. You're so like, And I was like, because even when you're playing, you're coming out with this shit that I know that if we weren't playing, that's exactly what you would do. And whenever I say like it just comes out, and it's like, why can you just be more giving, more like, okay, you know, just give people more. You don't need much. But at the same time,
You're
it's like,
asking yourself that?
yeah. Like, I wish I was more like, yeah, Mom, buy them houses, without being, you know, like sarcastic
Okay,
about
but
it.
we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Your needs are not being met.
It's not about the
Are we
houses.
supposed to give others something when our own needs are not being met?
I guess not.
Yeah, you said it. You said it before.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
No, but
upset.
it's a constant reminder of why do I feel like this?
It's
Why
not
do I
about
Because
fucking
you're-
care? I
Because your
shouldn't
needs
care.
are not met.
Because your mother is taking care of other people, not
And
you.
she neglects you.
You're her daughter. That's the
So
bottom line.
maybe the person, positive psychology, maybe, but it's the truth. Maybe the one who's most kind is you, because you continue to allow your mother to do these things for these other people. So maybe you're the one who's kind. You're sacrificing the things that should be yours for these others. And yes, you say it, but you let it happen, or you continue, you know, you're participating in it happening. Can you see it that way?
I can try. Yeah.
You're punishing yourself
Yeah.
when that's not really what you're upset about.
Yeah.
You don't need to be upset on yourself. You have every right to be upset at your mother.
And who said that kindness is giving material?
That's right.
James, what's kindness?
You want me to read it?
No, I want you, because
No,
you say
kindness.
that about yourself.
No, I am. That's actually what I think.
Me too.
Kindness for me, what stuck out the most on that is just compassion. Just overall sincerity, like going out of your way to either do something for someone, change something about yourself for someone.
So are you
like,
listening?
Like whatever it is, it's, you have the general capability of understanding what others cannot. So therefore, it comes natural to be kind. Like I tell my son every day, 2 things, that be kind and courteous.
Okay, but listen, it doesn't have to be a material thing either.
No, it does not.
It could be a gesture.
But then again, a couple of weeks ago, remember I told you about the crazy lady that's staying in the efficiency, and she was like, okay, so
She woke you up at 2 o'clock in the morning because she didn't have Wi-Fi?
right, so
Yeah, no one needs to be kind to her.
but look, it gets
One
worse.
job.
It gets worse. So we were cleaning up the backyard, you know, like the whole trees and stuff, taking them down. And my dad made una cardosa, you know, it's like a huge Cuban like meal. And my mom goes to her, like, we're working. She's just sleeping the whole day. She doesn't do shit, she just sleeps the whole day. And then my mom goes to her and say, hey, would you like some food? I'm like, why the fuck you waking her up to tell her to come to our backyard to eat with us? Like, why? But she's like, shut the fuck up. You know, she's like giving me the mother. Shut the fuck up. So she gives her the food. Okay, fine. I think it was the next day, the lady knocks on the door. We had visitors. And my mom was like, oh, here we go. So she opens the door. This lady is asking my mom, hey, I'm gonna pay you extra if you cook for me. What? And my mom is like, I don't even cook for my daughter. She has to cook for herself because I'm not very good in the kitchen. And then she's like, oh, because once my mom said no, she was like, oh, because I have no food. And I don't have money to go buy food.
She had money to pay her to make her food.
Right? That's what I fucking told my mom. And she said, I don't have nothing to eat today, and I don't know when I'll be able to buy food. Guess what my mom did? She stopped what we were doing. She went to, because we have 2 kitchens, right? One inside and one on the outside. She went to the kitchen on the outside, where I wasn't, you know, looking. she goes and she starts like taking stuff out of the fridge and putting it in a bag to give to the old lady. Then my mom is like, oh, bring me some rice. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't see what she's doing? And this is what bothers me about her. That people take advantage of her. And that pisses me off. Because it's like, I can't just be like, listen lady, if you don't have money to buy food, how do we expect for you to pay us to give you food? No. And I wanted to just kick her out so bad. But my mom's like, oh, she gave her potatoes, she gave her rice, she gave her meat, she gave her all this shit. I'm like, why do you do this? And then my mom's like, shut the fuck up. It's my food and I'm gonna give it to her because
And your
I want
mom
to.
is absolutely right. It's your mother's things. So where can you be compassionate, just to use James' word, where can you be compassionate towards this lady?
That, she's old and crazy, so.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
The only
It
reason I was able to calm
doesn't
down.
mean that you like what your mother is doing, but we can be compassionate towards another individual, even if we don't understand them. Yes.
May I comment on the story?
That's been shared, of course.
The thing with your mother is just, one thing, there's generosity, and the other, there's just plain stupidity. I mean, your kitchen isn't a soup kitchen, If the lady is supposedly struggling with getting groceries, why not, suggest to your mom to help her figure out some sort of grocery list or something, give her a bit of money if she needs it or whatever, it's like a compromise.
Well, we have to see what the motivation of Nellis's mother is. Nellis's mother has her own issue. There's a lot of insecurity there. Your mother plays martyr a lot of the times. One of the things we've learned in previous classes is that her mother takes money, and her mother doesn't work, and goes to Cuba and buys houses for people. So this is a deeper problem than her just, giving the lady food. But if we're using a definition of kindness as compassion towards another person, we don't need to give them something. We don't need to like the person. There are people that I am kind and compassionate to that I do not like.
That's kind of a problem that I have.
It's true.
I don't know how to control being kind. Even if I had this one friend that I guess I was a blessing in her life because she was so mean to me. And right now, let's say I had money and she was like, I'm hungry and this, and I didn't make enough money, and just for me to see her happy, I would give her $100. And I'm here I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life, but I just don't know how to control being compassionate and kind to other people.
I used to said earlier with the word pride, being proud of myself. I had to learn to stop doing that because you're overdoing it. And it's something that's within, even with her mom, it's something that's within, because it's way deeper. Because my dad does the same thing. I just look at him, I just roll my eyes. I don't say that, I don't comment because I know it's way deeper. If his siblings say, hey, I need $100 right now, and mind you, I asked for $100, but out of the US, the currency's way different. That $100 that was supposed to be for me, US money, it's already been switched around to, Caribbean money, and it's really, I just asked you for $100, which over there is worth way more. It's something that is way deeper for them. It's, like she said, insecurity, and it's more pleasing others. It's if you don't please others, you don't feel good.
But she does that, she does that with everyone.
Absolutely.
We have
Of
another
course.
friend
But that's a pathologic thing.
Yeah.
I just want to point out something for you. Kindness can go as far as not saying anything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, good point.
Just walk away. And be
That's
like,
what I want to learn how to do.
I literally
Because
was
it
my-
just,
About face and start walking.
because the thing is, I pointed it out to her. I'm like, Mom, I want you to open your eyes. Okay, give her all the fucking food in the fridge if you want to. But don't be stupid.
But here's
Just
the
please
thing.
realize that she's just playing a victim First she gives you, oh, I'm gonna pay you to give me
But
food,
notice
and now
how much
I
is,
got no
but
money
notice
to-
how much is bothering you though.
What bothers me is that they take advantage of her. She's already giving and giving and giving, and then
But
people
what do
come
we
and
know about mirroring?
I hate you, okay? I feel very
What
strongly.
do we know about mirroring?
Shall we? Let
I
us
know.
begin.
So they're feeding off one another.
Yeah.
Your mother likes it, and you're also in a role of martyr.
And she might like you telling this to her, because that just, you know, the word just left me that. Because you're acknowledging the fact that she's such a good person, look what she's doing, and so she's feeding off that. So when you're trying to tell her, open your eyes, you're being stupid, all she sees is, she sees how good I am, she
So
sees
that's
all the
something like
stuff.
that.
I went to a wedding a few months ago in Jamaica, and
I think she had your attention.
Oh, that's mine, sorry.
and is it 12?
No.
And this lady comes up to me, and for a moment I didn't recognize her. I have a lot of clients and I don't always remember everybody. And she goes, "You changed my life." And then I remembered her situation, and she's like, one of the things that came up in the session was that she would give her son money. And her son lived in her house rent-free. And we got her to sell her house, and we stopped giving the son money. And she was so appreciative. She goes, "That changed my life." So people oftentimes don't recognize that there's a neediness in themselves when they're behaving that way. But once they are out of the situation, oh my God, it's like this breath of fresh air. And that's how this woman felt. But prior to that, she felt an obligation. Stacy's dad obviously feels an obligation to siblings or family or whatnot. She obviously feels an obligation. That is a very common thread of the have and the have-nots. Write that down. That's going to be a theme in practice. The have and the have-nots. If I have and others don't, then I feel obligated to give the other person. So one of the things I always ask students when this comes up, raise your hand if you believe in karma. Okay, and most everybody raises their hand. What is karma?
What goes around comes around.
Okay, both good and bad. Karma's not bad. You know, people say karma's a bitch and all of that. But basically, what you have is what you're given, and you earned it, right? Both good and bad. So in this case, she feels that she has more than what she's entitled to. She has more than what she's supposed to have. And then it's a hypocrisy, because if you believe in karma, if you believe that someone is supposed to have what they're supposed to have, both good and bad, then everything is perfect in the world. The order of the universe is perfect. But one of the things that your father and your mother are dealing with is this idea of the have and the have-nots. I have so much that I should give to the other
He
person.
admits it. He would always admit it in the car because he has this thing, like even when I still have to say this, even when the homeless people pass by, I'm the type where I'll put the music a little, well, it's already loud as it is, and I'm releasing my foot off the brake and I'm trying to scoot up so that they don't try to pass by my window, versus he's the type to, you know, put down the window and give them, and I'm looking at him like, dude, I just asked you for 20 for gas. And he would always say to me is, well, I believe that if I give them, then God will bless me back. And it's like, I just asked you for 20.
So read this. Read this. James, read what it says on the paper about kindness. I'm blind, but I know it's in there.
About what?
Kindness.
Kindness, generosity, nutrients, care, compassion, altruism, doing for others.
Altruism. There's no altruism in your parents' behavior. Your mom hasn't said it, but she's probably in the same vein. If I give to others, then God will give to me.
Oh, he says it,
Altruism,
she says it.
okay.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, that's why
Twins.
God
Altruism,
always.
that's
Yeah.
not true altruism.
Yeah.
That's not true altruism. So for those of you who chose kindness, are you truly doing this out of the goodness of your heart, or is it that you expect something in return? Is it a manipulation, which is absolutely fine? This is part of how we get through the world, not criticizing it, but be honest with self. On Thursday, we're going to talk about eudaimonic and hedonic forms of well-being. One of those, eudaimonic, has to do with self-introspection, with understanding why you do what you do. It's fine that you do what you do. The therapist isn't supposed to change what you do, but we can bring insight to why. So your parents are doing it because they're expecting something in return. This isn't kindness out of the kindness of their heart. They're expecting God.
They admit it.
Whereas, any one other of you who chose kindness might expect someone else to do something for you. That's absolutely okay. Just be honest with the reason.
See,
I just want
It's
to
even
be
sometimes things they say at church too.
in another state of mind. By the time my nieces in Cuba, that now one is 4 and the other one is 7 or 8, by the time they reach 15, I say that and my stomach gets like so tense because it's like, like when the movies, when they train, they start hitting the abs.
Because you don't want her to pay for a 15.
Because I know she will fucking try to hit me. And I keep telling her, I go like that and I step back and I'm like, I can't wait to see what you're gonna do for their 15th birthday.
see,
Because the one person that has hurt my mom the most was her cousin that they grew up like sisters, that when she got divorced, my mom brought her to live with us for free. With her and her daughter, which those are the 2 people, and God forgive me, that I hate. And I don't like to say hate, but I hate them. Especially now that they being so backstabbing towards my mom. And so this person, she's always been like double-faced. Like she's always been a bitch behind my mom's back. And with my mom, she's like, oh my God, I love you. Long story short, for her daughter's 15th birthday, my mom was like, oh, I'm gonna pay for her pictures to be taken. Now, she wanted the most expensive pictures. And thank God she realized and said, hey, I didn't even get my daughter the most expensive pictures.
You had one?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
did, because of her, not because of me. Again, everything in my life has happened because she wanted it to happen. I never wanted her 15th birthday. I was never big on that. And it happened because of her.
I have a question. Can we turn kindness around where Nellis is compassionate towards self? Where who she becomes kind to is herself? Because that's what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that kindness is not necessarily has to be like that you're equal to your mother, but you learning kindness for self. What can you do to be a little kinder to yourself in this situation?
Having my own stuff, I guess.
Well, you have your own stuff. I think James hit the nail on the head. Not saying a thing.
Do what I do. I don't even say anything. You just roll your eyes, walk away, just, all right. Because so you know how sometimes they'll try to come up to you and try to tell you the shenanigans they're about to go do. It's like, oh my God, did I not tell you? Because currently right now he's trying to adopt 2 of his nieces because his sister recently passed. And it's like, okay, I mean, he's coming to me and telling me, it's like, all right, what more can you do? Because even if you get on your mom's case and it's like, stop trying to buy houses, she's going to keep buying the houses. She's going to keep going to Cuba with your dad's money to buy more houses. You just can say nothing at this point.
So
See,
the
my-
target
It's becoming a
of the
pressure for
kindness
you.
has to be you.
my mom, she does the same thing
Oh, sure.
your dad does. And she goes and feeds the homeless. And she did this while I was on the streets. She went and she still goes and feeds the homeless. And she just tells me that because I put myself in that situation, that's why I wasn't getting fed or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, yo.
Wait, how's your mom
I'm like, God's gonna return that.
Is your coffee as an
One thing before you go.